What's cooking, everybody? It's Door, and in this video I'll be showing you how to fully upgrade the Nomad Exocraft in No Man's Sky. The Nomad Exocraft is a light exocraft and features 16 slots. It's a fast exocraft and it's also quite maneuverable. Unlike all the other exocrafts, it actually hovers above the ground, which also makes you hover above water. So it's a perfect exocraft for exploring planets which feature large bodies of water. In this video I will of course be showing you how to unlock the Nomad, as well as show you the perfect setups for adjacency bonuses. And so without any further ado, let's get straight into it. So to unlock the Nomad Exocraft, you can head up to the Construction Research Station aboard the Anomaly. On the Transport Modules tab, you'll find that you'll need to unlock the Roamer Geobay first before you can unlock the Nomad Geobay. Alternatively, you could also unlock these both by completing the Scientific Research side quest. I'll link a video detailing how in the description down below. To unlock the technology for the Exocrafts, you can head up to Iteration Perseus, also aboard the Anomaly. Here you'll find everything from engine upgrades to scanner upgrades and boost upgrades, as well as shields. This entire section will also be unlocked by completing the Scientific Research side quest, so I would definitely advise on doing so. The only 4 remaining items you will still need to purchase if you've completed the Scientific Research side quest are the shields, which cost 120 nanites apiece, making the total 480 nanites. So of course, to be able to install all the tech onto your Nomad, make sure to enter it to make it your primary exocraft. You'll see that the fusion engine and the exocraft acceleration module are already pre-installed. You want to move the fusion engine to this slot right here, and the exocraft acceleration unit to the slot right below it. You can install the Icarus fuel system right next to the fusion engine. This will cost you 2 microprocessors, 3 storm crystals and 2 wiring loom, and will enable the exocraft to automatically recharge during the day. You can install any of the shields above the fusion engine. I choose to install the megawatt heater here for 50 uranium, 80 phosphorus and 1 wiring loom. This will protect you from freezing environments. Right next to it, I decided to install the air filtration unit. This will cost you 5 carbon nanotube, 160 copper and 1 wiring loom, and will protect you from toxic environments. Now it is good to know that once you've installed the shield, you're protected from that specific environment. You do not have to recharge the shields and they will not deplete over time. You can install the remaining shields next to the Icarus fuel system. Install the neutron shielding for 95 deuterium, 50 ionized cobalt and 1 wiring loom to be protected from radioactive environments. And finally, right next to this, you can install the thermal buffer for 2 hermetic shields, 80 dioxide and 1 wiring loom to also be protected from heated environments. You'll notice that these shields will not have any adjacency bonuses to one another, so it's not necessary to group them next to each other. Next, you can install the Exocraft signal booster in the slot right here for 1 microprocessor and 50 chromatic metal. This will allow you to open the Exocraft signal booster from the quick menu and scan for depots. Place the advanced signal booster right next to it for 2 iron batteries, 100 chromatic metal and 2 microprocessors to increase the scanning range by 100% and to also allow you to scan for drop pods and for abandoned structures. And finally, you can also install the Exocraft signal booster upgrade Tau for 2 iron batteries, 150 chromatic metal and 50 gold, also for a 100% increase in scanner range, but it will also allow you to scan for trade outposts, for ruins and for alien structures via the quick menu. So finally, this general well-rounded setup should look a lot like this. As the Nomad does have limited space though, you will have to pick between either installing the mining laser or the cannon. If you want to install the Exocraft mining laser, this will cost you 100 chromatic metal, 25 magnetized ferrite and 2 life support gels. The mining laser will of course allow you to mine resources you find scattered around on planets. Everything except for these advanced resources. For this you will need to install the advanced mining laser. This will cost you 50 chromatic metal and 50 bugnium. And as you can tell, now this thing really shreds through anything as well. If you are going for this setup, I would recommend to pick up 3 S-Class upgrade modules for the mining laser. I'll share a location to the station which has them a little later in this video. You will want to make sure to install them in the 3 remaining slots around the mining laser. I will put up the minimum and maximum stats of these S-Class upgrade modules on screen. You will of course want to make sure that the upgrade modules you have are as close to the maximum stats as possible. And as you can see, these upgrades really make a difference on how well the laser performs. But as it is a light exocraft with only limited amount of slots, you will only be able to harvest one material. So if you rather want to have the exocraft mounted cannon installed, you can do so for 50 pognium and 100 copper. This will of course allow you to shoot at enemies. It's a pretty decent weapon, doing 320 damage on base hits and 1280 on critical hits. Again, to make the most out of the cannon, you will want to have 3 S-Class upgrade modules. Place them in the slots around your exocraft cannon, again to form a square shape. I will again leave the minimum and maximum stats on screen. And as you can see in this example, my regular hits got up to 476 per shots and my critical hits at 1904 on sentinels. Now I would personally recommend to only use a Nomad to traverse around planets, and use an exocraft with more slots like the roamer for a more well-rounded exocraft build. I've created a video on a well-rounded roamer build, which I'll also link in the description down below. So if you want to use the Nomad for its speed and agility, you want to move the Icarus fuel system to the slot right here, and the fusion engine to the slot right here. Move the Exocraft acceleration module to one slot above it. So I decided to deinstall all the scanners, as these are already installed on my roamer and I can just summon it whenever I want to scan for something nearby. So your final inventory should then look a lot like this. In this build we will be focusing of course on adding upgrades to the boost and to the engine itself. If you are interested however in upgrading the mining laser and the cannon, go to the system for which I'll display the glyphs on screen. If you approach the Exocraft technology merchant, you'll find that he carries S-Class upgrades for the cannon and the mining laser. Purchase whichever you'll need, return to your ship, get in and out of it to create an autosave and reload it. Once you're back in the game and you approach the technology merchant, you'll find that the S-Class modules are restocked. You can just rinse and repeat this until you have 3 of the type you are going for. If you are going for the faster and more agile build, you can head to the glyphs which are displayed on screen now. This system will carry S-Class upgrades for the boost module as well as the engine module. Of course you can rinse and repeat the process I just explained with the other station until you have 3 of each upgrade. While I'm doing so, I want to ask you to please leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, let me know in the comments down below what you did most, and please subscribe to see more No Man's Sky content in the future. So when you have the 3 Exocraft engine modules and the 3 Exocraft boost modules, it's time to install them. So install the engine upgrades around the fusion engine module to again form a square shape. So you'll see that the fusion engine modules will have an adjacency bonus, only the Icarus fuel system doesn't. And of course then install the Exocraft boost modules around the Exocraft acceleration module, again in a square shape, to get best adjacency bonus results. So this will leave you with 3 empty slots. Of course you could install some of the suspension upgrades as well. You can install the drift suspension for 50 paraffinium, 50 magnetized ferrite and 1 wiring loom. This will increase your forward grip by 200%, but reduce your angular grip with 34%. You can install the grip boost suspension for 50 tritium, 50 magnetized ferrite and 1 wiring loom for a 50% decrease in forward grip, but a 110 increase in the angular grip. And finally, you can install the high slide suspension for 50 dioxide, 50 magnetized ferrite and 1 wiring loom. This will decrease your forward grip with 50% and decrease your angular grip with 34%. Now I see a lot of people installing all 3 of the suspension upgrades, as they will have an adjacency bonus. But it doesn't make any sense at all, as these stats doesn't complement each other at all. And to prove this to you, here's a side by side with the fully upgraded Nomad to the left with no suspension upgrade at all, and the one to the right has all the 3 suspension upgrades with the adjacency bonuses. Now these are the worst results I have yet to come across. I've also tested this on the Roamer and the Colossus, but neither of which had shown a difference this big. There's a full 2 seconds difference between the one without any suspension upgrades and the one with all suspension upgrades on a straight line. If you're looking at the cornering behavior, I would say that they are also both quite the same, so it also doesn't really make a difference at all to install them. It's just a waste of space really. What you could of course do however is install one of them, and to help you make the decision which will suit your playstyle most or will be most fun to drive, I will put a side by side of all 3 of these suspension upgrades. So you will see that on the straight the drift suspension takes the lead, coming in at 9 seconds. The grip boost suspension follows this up with 17.19 and the high slide suspension with 17.26. As far as cornering goes, of course the drift suspension is the most slidey of the bunch. The grip boost suspension really corners really tightly and it feels a bit weird when on an hovercraft, to be fully honest. And the high slide suspension is, as expected, quite the middle ground of it. So I personally went with the drift suspension as I thought that the added speed going off on a straight line and when starting to drive the Nomad really was worth it. Plus I did really like the slidiness that it had in corner. Like I said, it really goes well with the characteristics of a hovercraft. And that was all for this video. I hope you liked it and I hope to see you in the next one.